Verse 32, begin. And Yosef said unto them, This is the thing which I have spoken to you. You are spies, for you are come to slay the inhabitants of the land. For we heard that 2 of your brethren smote all the inhabitants of Shechem in the land of Canaan on account of your sisters. And you now come to do the like in Mizraim on account of your brethren? Only hereby shall I know that you are true men, if you will send home one from amongst you to fetch your youngest brother from your Abba, and to bring him here unto me. And by doing this thing I will know that you are right. And Yosef called to the 70 and his mighty men, and he said unto them, Take these men and bring them into the ward. And the mighty men took the 10 men, and they laid hold of them and put them into the ward. And they were in the ward 3 yamim. And on the 3rd yom, Yosef had them brought out of the ward, and he said unto them, Do this for yourselves, if you be true men, so that you may live. One of your brother shall be confined in the ward, while you go and take home the corn for your household to the land of Canaan, and fetch your youngest brother and bring him here unto me, that I may know that you are true men when you do this thing. And Yosef went out from them and came into the chamber and wept, and great weeping, for his pity was excited for them. And he washed his face and returned to them again. And he took Simon from them and ordered him to be bound. But Simeon was not willing to be done so. Was not willing to be done so. For he was a very powerful man, and they could not bind him. No matter what way they tried to do, they couldn't bind him. And Yosef called unto his mighty men 70 valiant men, came before him with drawn swords in their hands, and the sons of Jacob were terrified at them. And Yosef said unto them, Seize this man and confine him in prison until his brethren come to him. And Yosef, valiant men, hastened, and they all laid hold of Simon and to bind him. And Simon gave a loud, terrible shriek, and the cry was heard at a distance. And all the valiant men of Yosef were terrified at the sound of the shriek, that they fell upon their faces, and they were greatly afraid and fled. And all the men that were with Yosef fled, and for they were greatly afraid of their high, and only Yosef and Manasseh his son remained there. So Manasseh and Ephraim are growing up under the understanding of sitting there in government, and his son remained there. And Manasseh his son of Yosef saw the strength of Simon, and he was exceedingly angry. And Manasseh the son of Yosef rose up to Simon, and Manasseh smote Simeon a heavy blow with his fist against the back of his neck, and Simeon was stilled at his rage. So he gave him a karate chop, a heavy blow. And Manasseh laid hold of Simeon, and he seized him violently, and he bound him and brought him into the house of confinement. And the sons of Jacob were astonished at the act of the youth. Simeon said unto his brothers, None of you must say that this is the smiting of an Egyptian, but it is the smiting of the house of our Abba. He knew that was the strength of a Mizraim. And after this, Yosef ordered him to be called, who was set over the storehouse to fill their sacks with corn as they could carry, and to restore every man's money into his sack, and to give them provision for the road, and thus he did unto them. And thus did he unto them. And Yosef commanded them, saying, Take heed lest you transgress my orders to bring your brother as I have told you. And it shall be when you bring your brother here and there unto me, then will I know that you are true men, and you shall traffic in the land, and I will restore unto you your brother, and you shall return in your shalom to your Abba. And they all answered and said, According to our master speaks, so well we do. And they bowed to him to the ground, and every man lifted his corn upon his mule. And they went out to go to the land of Canaan to their Abba, and they came into the inn, and Levi spread his sack to give provender to his mule. And when he saw, and behold, his money in full weight was still in his sack. And the man was greatly afraid, and said unto his brother, My money is restored, and lo, it is even in my sack. And the men were greatly afraid, and they said, What is this that Yahuah has done unto us? And they all said, And where is Yahuah kindness with our Abbas, with Abraham, Ishak, and Jacob, that Yahuah has this yom delivered us into the hands of the Malek of Mitzrayim to contrive against us? And Yahuah said unto them, Surely we are guilty sinners before Yahuah our Almighty, in having sold our brother, our own flesh. Wherefore do you say, Where is Yahuah's kindness with our fathers? And Reuben said unto them, Said I not unto you, Do not sin against the lad, and you would not listen to me? Now Yahuah requires him from us. And how dare you say, Where is Yahuah's kindness with our Abba, while you have sinned unto Yahuah? And they tarried overnight in that place. And they rose up early in the morning, and laden their asses with their corn. And they led them, and went on, and came to their Abba's house in the land of Canaan. And Jacob and his household went out to meet his Benai, his sons. And Jacob saw, and behold, their brother Simeon was not with them. And Jacob said unto his sons, Where is your brother Simeon? When I did not see, whom I did not see. And his sons told him all that had befallen them in Mitzrayim. Chapter 52. And they entered their houses, and every man opened his sack, and they saw, and behold, every man's bundle of money was there, at which they and their Abba were greatly terrified. And Jacob said unto them, What is this that you have done to me? I sent your brother Yosef to inquire after your welfare, and you said unto me, A wild beast did devour him. And Simon went with you to buy food, and you say, The Malek of Mitzrayim has confined him in prison, and you wish to take Benjamin to cause his death also, and bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave on account of Benjamin, his brother, Yosef. Now therefore my sons shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. Mischief may befall him by the way in which you go, as it befell his brother. And Reuben said unto his Abba, You shall slay my two sons, if I do not bring your son and place him before you. And Jacob said unto his sons, Abide you here, and do not go down to Mizraim, for my son shall not go down with you to Mizraim, nor die like his brother. And Yahudah said unto them, refrain you from him until the corn is finished, and he will then say, take down your brother, and when he will find his own high, and the high of his household in danger from the famine. And Yahudah said unto them this, and in those yamim, the famine was sore throughout the land, and all the anashim of the Eretz went and came to Mizraim to buy food, for the famine prevailed greatly amongst them. And the sons of Jacob remained in Canaan a whole year and 2 months until their corn was finished. You hear that? It took a year and 2 months until the corn was finished. So their brother was over there that long. And it came to pass after their corn was finished, the whole household of Jacob was pinched with hunger. And all the infants of the sons of Jacob came together, and they approached Jacob, and they all surrounded him. And they said unto him, give unto us bread, and wherefore shall we also perish through hunger in your presence? And Jacob heard the words of his son's children, and he wept a great weeping, and his pity was aroused for them. And Jacob called unto his sons, and they all came and sat before him. And Jacob said unto them, and have you not seen how your children have been weeping over me this yom, saying, give unto us bread, and there is none? Now therefore return and buy for us a little food. And Yahudah answered and said unto his Abba, if you will send our brother with us, we will go down and buy corn for you. And if not, if you will not send him, then we will not go down. For surely the Melech of Mizraim particularly enjoined us, saying, you shall not see my face unless your brother be with you. For the Melech of Mizraim is a strong and mighty Melech. And behold, if we shall go to him without our brother, we shall all be put to death. Do you not know, and have you not heard, that this Melech is very powerful and full of chokmah, and there is not like unto him in all the Eretz? Behold, we have seen all the Melechim of the Eretz, and we have not seen one like that Melech. And the Melech of Mizraim, surely among all the Melechs of the earth, there is none greater than Amalek, Melech of the Philistines. Yet the Melech of Mizraim is greater and mightier than he, and Amalek can only be compared to one of his officers. Abba, you have not seen his palace and his throne, and all his servants standing before him. You have not seen that Melech upon his throne, and his pomp and royal appearance, dressed in his Melech robes, with a large golden crown upon his head. You have not seen the honor and splendor which Yahuah has given unto him, for there is not like unto him in all the earth. Abba, you have not seen his chokmah, da'at, bina, and the understanding, da'at, and the knowledge, da'at, chokmah, which Yahuah has given in his lab, nor heard his sweet voice when he spoke unto us. We know not, Abba, who made him acquainted with our names and all that befell us. Yet he asked also after you, saying, is your Abba still alive? Is it well with him? And is it well with him? You have not seen the affairs of the government of Mizraim regulated by him, without inquiring of Pharaoh his master. You have not seen the awe and revere which he impressed upon all the Misharites. And also when we went from him, we threatened to do unto Misharim like unto the rest of the cities of the Amorites, and we were exceedingly angry against all his words which he spoke concerning us as spies. And now when we shall again come before him, his terror will fall upon us all. Not one of us will be able to speak to him, either a little or great thing. Now, therefore, Abba, send, we pray you, the lad with us, and we will go down and buy you food for our support, and not die through hunger. And Jacob said, Why have you dealt so ill with me, to tell the Melech you had a brother? What is this thing that you have done unto me? And Yehudah said unto Jacob his Abba, Give the lad into my care, and we will rise up and go down to Misharim and buy corn, and then return. And it shall be when we return, if the lad be not with us, then let me bear your blame forever. Have you seen all your infants weeping over you through hunger, and there is no power in your hand to satisfy them? Now let your pity be roused for them, and send our brother with us, and we will go. For how will Yahuah's kindness be our ancestors to be manifest to you, when you sayest that the Melech of Misharim will take away your son? As Yahuah lives, I will not leave him until I bring him and place him before you. But pray for us unto Yahuah, that he may deal kindly with us, to cause us to be received favorably and kindly before the Melech of Misharim and this man, for had we not delayed, surely now we had returned a second time with your son. And Jacob said to his sons, I trust Yahuah the Almighty, that he may deliver you and give you favor in the sight of the Melech of Misharim, in the sight of all his men. Now therefore rise up and go to the man, and take for him in your hands and present from what we can be obtained in the land, and bring it before him. And may the Almighty Yahuah give you compassion, pity before him, that he may send Benjamin and Simeon, your brother, before you. And all the men rose up, and they took their brother Benjamin, and they took in their hands a large present of the best of the land, and they also took a double portion of silver. And Jacob strictly commanded his sons concerning Benjamin, saying, Take heed of him in the way in which you are going. Do not separate yourself from him in the road, neither in Misharim. And Jacob rose up from his sons, and spread forth his hands, and he prayed unto Yahuah on account of his sons, saying, O Yahuah, the Almighty of Shamaim and Eretz, remember your covenant with our Abba Abraham, remember it with our Abba Ishak, and deal kindly with our Benai sons, and deliver them not into the hands of the Melech of Misharim. Do it, I pray you, O Yahuah, for the sake of your compassion, pity, and redeem all my children, and rescue them from Misharim power, and send them their two brothers. And all the wives of the sons of Jacob and their children lifted up their eyes to Shamaim, and they all wept before Yahuah, and cried to him, and to deliver their Abba from the hand of the Melech of Misharim. And Jacob wrote a record to the Melech of Misharim, and gave it into the hand of Yehudah, and into the hands of his sons for the Melech of Misharim, saying, From your servant Jacob, sons of Yishak, sons of Abraham, the Ibrim, the prince of Yahuah, to the power and Da'ath, sovereign, the revealer of secrets, the sovereign of Misraim, greetings. Be it known to my master, the sovereign Misraim, the famine was sore upon us in the land of Canaan, and I sent my sons to you to buy us a little food from you for our support. For my sons surrounded me, and I being very old cannot see with my eyes, for my eyes have become very heavy through age, as well as with daily weeping for my son, for Yosef, who was lost from before me. And I commanded my sons that they should not enter the gates of the city when they come to Misraim, on account of the inhabitants of the land. And I also commanded them to go about Misraim to seek for my son Yosef, perhaps they might find him there. And they did so. And you didst consider them as spies at the land. Have you not heard concerning you that you didst interpret Pharaoh's dream? And verse 33. Verse 33. Have we not heard concerning you that you did interpret Pharaoh's dream, and didst speak truly unto him? How then do you not know in your hukmah whether my sons are spies or not? Now therefore, my master and Melech, behold, I have sent my son before you, as you did speak unto my sons. I beseech you to put your eyes upon him until he is returned to me in Shalom with his brethren. For do you not know, or have you not heard, that which our Yahuah did unto the Pharaoh when he took my mother Sarah, when he did unto Amalek, sovereign of the Philistines, on account of her, and also what our Abba Abraham did unto the 9 Melechs of Elam, how he smote them all with a few men that were with him. So he given them a pleading letter, but at the same token, he's reminding them to check their records, because the Misraites, the Misraim, in Misraim, are very accountable for their records of events that take place. And also what my 2 sons of Simeon and Levi did unto the 8 cities of the Amorites, how they destroyed them on account of their sister Dinah. And also an account of their brother Benjamin. They consoled themselves for the loss of his brother Yosef. What will they then do for him when they see the hand of any people prevailing over them for his sake? Do you not know, O Malak of Misraim, that the power of Yahuah is with us, and that also Yahuah ever hears our prayers and forsakes us not all our yamim? And when my sons told me of your dealings with them, I called unto Yahuah on account of you, for then you wouldst have perished with your men before my son Benjamin came before you. But I thought that as Simeon my son was in your house, perhaps you might deal kindly with him. Therefore I did not this thing unto you. So he's saying he was going to say a prayer to destroy the Melech of Misraim, Yosef, but because Simeon is in this house, he said a prayer kindly not to do bad. Now therefore, behold, Benjamin my son comes unto you with my sons. So they knew their power of Emunah in prayer, that Abba took heed to their prayers. Take heed of him, and put your eyes upon him, and then will Yahuah place his eyes over you and throughout your sovereignty. Now I have told you all that is in my lap, and behold, my sons are coming to you, and with their brother examine the face of the whole earth for their sake, and send them back in Shalom with their brother. And Yaakov gave the record to his sons into the care of Yehudah to give it unto the Melech of Misraim. Chapter 53. And the sons of Yaakov rose up and took Benjamin the whole of the presents, and they went and came to Egypt, and they stood before Yosef. And Yosef, behold, his brother Benjamin with them, and he saluted them, and these men came to Yosef's house. And Yosef commanded the superintendent in his house to give to his brother to eat, and he did so unto them. And at noontime Yosef sent for the men to come before him with Benjamin. And the men told the superintendent of Yosef's house concerning the silver that was returned in their sacks. And he said unto them, it will be well with you. Revere not, and fear not, Don't tremble not, is the real word, because fear is a Greek word. Fear, tremble not. And he brought them before Simeon unto them. And Simeon said unto his brothers, the master of the Egyptians has acted very kindly unto me. He did not keep me bound, as you saw with your eyes. For when you went out from the city, he let me free, and dealt kindly with me in his house. And Yahuah took Benjamin by the hand, and they came before Yosef, and they bowed down to him to the ground. And the men gave the present unto Yosef, and they all sat before him. And Yosef said unto them, is it well with you? Is it well with your children? Is it well with your age, Abba? And they said, it is well. And Yahuah took the record which Jacob had sent, and gave it unto the hand of Yosef. And Yosef read the letter, and knew his Abba writing, and he wished, he impressed to weep, and he went into a inner room, and he wept a great weeping, and he went out. And he lifted up his eyes, and behold, his brother Benjamin. And he said, is this your brother of whom you spoke unto me? And Benjamin approached Yosef, and Yosef placed his hand upon his head, and he said unto him, may Yahuah be gracious unto you, my son. So he did it secretly, put his head and his eyes together, placed them like the Misarim, like they do in Africa, all right, when they greet or separate. He put his eyes upon him and everything, but he told him, he whispered to him, he said, may Yahuah be splendorous unto you, my son. And Yosef saw his brother, the son of his mother, and again wished to weep. And he entered in the chamber, and he wept there. And he washed his face, and went out, and refrained from weeping. And he said to prepare food. And Yosef had a cup from which he drank. And it was a silver, beautiful, inlaid with onyx stones and bdellium. And Yosef struck the cup in the sight of his brethren while they were sitting to eat with him. And Yosef said to the man, I know by this cup that Reuben, the firstborn, Simon and Levi, and Yehudah, and Issachar, and Zebulun are children from one mother. Seat yourself to eat according to your births. So he played the part like he was divining with a cup, but in reality he knew who they were. He knew who they were all together, okay? And he also placed the brothers according to their births, and he said, I know that this youngest brother has no brother, and I, like him, have no brother. He also shall therefore sit to eat with me. And Benjamin went up before Yosef and sat upon the throne, and the men beheld the acts of Yosef, and they were astonished at them. And the men ate and drank at the time with Yosef, and he then gave the present unto them. And Yosef gave one gift unto Benjamin and Manasseh, and Ephraim saw the acts of their Abba, and they also gave presents unto him. And Shanah gave him one present, and they were 5 presents in the hand of Benjamin. And Yosef brought them out wine to drink, and they would not drink. And they said, from the yom on which Yosef was lost, we have not drunk wine nor eaten any delicacies. Now listen carefully. This is so great in the book of Yasher. They went looking for their brother. They made a covenant to find their brother in the city. They wept and repented. They knew they sinned. And they even went to the house of harlot looking. And they're willing to fight whoever owned them. They would not sell them back. And were willing to die or kill them. And they even did not drink wine till their brother was restored, like Nazarene. So this whole task led them to repent from their sins and change their way. Hallelujah. Praise Abba Yah. And Yosef swore unto them, and he pressed them hard, and they drank plentiful with him on their yom. And Yosef afterward turned to his brother Benjamin to speak with him, and Benjamin was still sitting. Listen to this story. These are the ancient instruments in order to know the HaRuachEliyahu calendar and how everything works with the kokaim and the Shebesh, they call the sun, and the moon, the Kodesh months. Okay, what I'm about to read to you here. Very important. This is the reason why I want to read lately this story to you. And Yosef said to him, have you begotten any children? And he said, your servant has 10 sons. These are their names: Bela, Becher, Ashbal, Ger, Naaman, Aki, Rosh, Nupim, Kupim, Od, and I call their names after my brother, whom I have not seen. And he ordered them to bring before him this map of the kokaim. It was an instrument type of map, whereby Yosef knew all the times. And Yosef said unto Benjamin, I have heard that the Ibrim are acquainted with all Chokmah. Do you know anything of this? And Benjamin said, your servant is known also in all the Chokmah and drought which my Abba taught me. And Yosef said unto Benjamin, look now at this instrument and understand where your Abba, where your Ben Yosef is in Egypt, who you said went on down to Mitzrayim. Now, before I read 20, listen carefully. If you go to the anomalies of things they have found in the earth, they found these instruments thousands of years old. They were on a Viking ship, but they knew it was not a Viking origin. That Swiss said that no one ever made such an instrument of high tech better than a watch that they can make today. It was something like you would hold two hands on a sheet and sliders and use it with the kokaim and the shemesh and the Kodesh, the moons. All right, the moon. So now, they've dug these things up. They found these things in the depths of the sea. They found instruments of such high-tech precision. Okay, so fine, NASA could not be in precision as theirs that was found. Now, so don't doubt that this instrument exists, because I believe this could be something of an instrument of such from Mitzrayim. Listen, Yaakov Israel taught his sons these instruments. He said, are you familiar with this instrument? They said, yes. So it's an instrument that's common use of high tech, all right, value. And they can keep the feast of HaRuachEliyahu that way as well and travel the same way. And Benjamin in verse 19 said, your servant is knowing also in all the Hokmah, Da'ath, by Nah, which my Abba taught me. Listen, verse 20. And Benjamin beheld that instrument with the map of the Kokaim of Shamayim. It's a Kokaim Shamayim map. And he was Da'ath and Hokmah, and looked therein to know where his brother was. And Benjamin divided the whole land of Mizraim into 4 parts. And he found that who was sitting upon the throne before him was his brother Yosef. And Benjamin wondered greatly, looking at him. And when Yosef saw that his brother Benjamin was so much astonished, Yosef knew. He said unto Benjamin, what have you seen, and why are you astonished? And Benjamin said unto Yosef, I can see by this that Yosef my brother sits here and with me upon the throne. And Yosef said to him, I am Yosef your brother. Reveal now this thing unto your brethren. Behold, I will send you with them that when you go away, and I will command them to be brought back again into the city, and I will take you away from them. And if they dare their lies and fought for you, then shall I know that they have repented of what they did unto me, and I will make myself known to them. And if they forsake you, then I take you. Then shall you remain with me, and I will wrangle with them, and they shall go away, and I will not become known to them. At that time Yosef commanded his officers to fill their sacks with food, and to put each man's money in his own sack, and to put the cup in the sack of Benjamin, and to give them provision for the road, and they did so unto them. So his brother knew what was going to happen. Verse 24. On the next Yom, the men rose up early in the morning, and they loaded their mules and they with their corn, and they went forth from Benjamin, and they went to the land of Canaan, and their brother Benjamin. And they had not gone far from Egypt when Yosef commanded him that was set over his house, saying, rise up, pursue these men before they get too far from me, Mizraim, and say unto them, why have you stolen my master's cup? And Yosef's officers rose up, and he reached them, and he spoke unto them all the words of Yosef. And when they heard that this thing, they became exceedingly wrath, and they said, he with whom my master's cup shall be found shall die, and we will also become slaves. And they hastened, each man brought down his sack from his ass, and they looked in their bags, and the cup was found in Benjamin's bag. And they all tore their garments, and they returned to the city, and they smote Benjamin on the road, continually smiting him until he came into the city, and they stood before Yosef. So they slapped him around, playing the part. All right. Same story. We're now in Berashith, chapter 44, but we are in this chapter of Yasher, Sefer Yasher 53, and we're going to look at 28. And Yehudah's anger was kindled, and he said, this man has only brought me back to destroy Egypt this Yom. They're going to fight. Like they have the power of Yahuah to do that. And the men came to Yosef's house, and they found Yosef sitting upon his throne, and all the men standing at his right hand and left. And Yosef said to them, what is this act that you have done? That you took away my silver cup and went away. But I know that you took my cup in order to know thereby in what part of the land your brother was. So he threw it at him that you stole the cup because you wanted divine to try to find your brother. Threw that story in there. Verse 31. And Yehudah said, what shall we say to the master? What shall we speak? And how should we justify ourselves? Yahuah this Yom found the iniquity of all your servants. Therefore has he done this thing to us this Yom. And Yosef rose up and caught hold of Benjamin and took him from his brother with violence. And he came to the house and locked the door at them. And Yosef commanded him that was set over his house that he should say unto them, thus says the sovereign, the Malach, go in shalom to your brother. And behold, I have taken the man in whose hand my cup is found. So that's about the right place where the Parashat Miketz ends on verse 17, chapter 44 of this Parashat. I just wanted to show that with you. You can go and read the book of Yasher yourself and continue the story. It's an awesome story. There's more stuff that happens in chapter 54 that's awesome when they start weeping and crying and knowing. It's just an awesome story. You got to read it yourself. I'm going to go ahead and end there. Wow, 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 wow. This story went for several hours, and I just praise Yahuah for the opportunity to share with you, and I pray it stirs you up to want to read it and know more. It's different how to read it, the Parashat from Berashith comparison. You know Berashith already, so a comparison of those chapters 40, 41 to 44 of Berashith, and reading it from Sefer Yasher, chapter 46, 47, 48, all the way to 53 ending. So I just want to close this Berashith this moment. You can see our information in front of you. You want to get a hold of us. You want to blog. You want to put it on Google Plus. You want to text some information of the story. Have somebody read it, be read to somebody through this video. Praise Yahuah for this great opportunity to come into your home. And I bid you shalom, shalom. Have a great Shabbat shalom. Have a great Hag Sameach Hanukkah feast of dedication, as Yosef was refined in the fire and dedicated for Yahuah for such a time as this. We are being dedicated the same for such a time as this, to go forth and give the bezoras to all the nations of the world. Be shalom. Amen.